No, I'm just laughing. I'm on the air again. Oh, let me change my lights for a little bit. Is that any better now? They're still a little funky, aren't they? Huh? Little funky lights here, huh? Maybe it's okay, maybe not. Maybe move this over a little bit. Move this one over a little bit. Huh. Well. Oh, that one's a little crooked, isn't it? Well, maybe I can fix that. Sorta, maybe. Yeah, still don't like that one much, huh? Well, boy, that's still bad lighting too. Oh, let's see how we look on the air. So, what the heck, huh? Okay. Well, actually, I spent my life trying to help people find sources of money and information and help to do things and really get through this life easier. I mean, that's what I think the biggest thing is. Man, we're all struggling, and it's a struggle for everybody. I mean, some have different kind of struggles, some are not so bad than others, and things like that. But taken as individual, I mean, the other guy's struggling too, just with different kind of struggles than you are. So that's what I sort of see life as, and how do we get through this stuff? Well, I think it's two things. Is one, knowing your options seems to be the biggest thing. What are your options in life? Yeah, and also, where the hell is the world going to? Yeah. Or just not that you would know the answers, but that you would have a sense of maybe what it isn't anymore. And I think that's the main thing. It's not what it is, but what it isn't. And if you're over 30 or so, you have this idea of what the world should be, and it probably isn't that anymore. I'm reading a book now called The Optimist's Guide to Thriving in the Age of Accelerations. Or Thank You for Being Late. That's the guy who wrote The World is Flat. He's a journalist, but he's keeping up on all this kind of stuff all over the world, what's going on. And he's been doing about 30, 40 years. And it's actually interesting, the name of the book is Thank You for Being Late, because he has meetings every morning breakfast meetings with powered people. And this one guy was late, about 20, 30 minutes for breakfast, and he found himself waiting for him that, gee, this is the first time I had some time to think. All our lives are on this, little, cage, like in a rodent in a squirrel cage, going round and round. We don't even know what the hell we're doing, but we're doing it fast. And we can't do it fast enough. So when the guy finally showed up, the guy was so shocked when this author said, well, you know what? Thanks for being late. This is the first time I had a chance to think and do whatever. And that's why I think that's happening to all of us, because our world is going so fast, we can't keep up. What we learned before doesn't work anymore. Nobody knows. And the leaders don't know either. They're all guessing. I mean, look at Trump. He's Who would have thought he'd be elected? Nobody. You know, you could have got 1,000 to 1 odds where you're lucky. If, you know, you would have made a lot of money if you bet on him a year ago, right? And what's happened in France, right, this weekend? This guy's never had elected office in his life. He's only 39 years old. And he looks like he's going to be the new president of France. Yeah. So people out of nowhere, they couldn't guess. Or here, actually, he mentioned something in his book here that is sort of interesting. That has certainly happened in my lifetime in the last, 5 years or so. Now we live in a society now where Uber is the world's largest taxi cab company, and it owns no cars. See, this is the kind of world that we're changing so much. So Uber, is the largest taxi cab company, doesn't own a car. So that's it. They only have about 1,000 people, or 2,000, 3,000, something like that. And they're worth $50 billion or 40. I mean, they're incredible. Bigger than, Avis and Hertz together, who employs 300,000 maybe between both of them. And this guy only has 3,000. But there's 1 million people making money. Okay, Facebook, is the world's biggest, most popular media owner. So they own media, like, magazines are media, television. Facebook is a bigger media company than anybody else in the world. But they create no information. They create no content. They're using other people's content. So you watch TV, right? Somebody's spending money, time, and everything put on a show there. You read a magazine, do it. Facebook, which is bigger than all those guys probably combined now, they don't create anything. We're creating the content. Who would have thought that, yes, I'm going to start a media business and I'm not going to create a lick of content. There's going to be nothing I'm going to do to do that. Other people will do it for free, don't worry. Airbnb. Okay, that's the largest hoteler in the world. Okay, owns no real estate. Again, the largest hoteler in the world, no real estate. They only have a couple thousand employees too. Hyatt has like 50 to 100,000 employees or more. And this is worth twice as much as Hyatt. And that's what, but there's 1 million people making money off of those Airbnb, and I'm one of them. Alibaba, okay, that's another one. That's the most valuable retailer in the world. Okay, so the value of that company is bigger than, Amazon, that's another one, that's probably number 2, but, than Kmart or Walmart or all these kinds of things, and they have no inventory. So here's a retail store now, has no inventory, and they're the largest, the most valuable retailer in the world. Say, gosh, could any of us said that 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, that's what's going to be happening? So that's what's happening, I think, in our world. We're changing so fast. And what I also see is that our leaders can't keep up with it. They don't know. I mean, I was just reading that. This is just like 2 days ago, this data came out. Okay, Trump, when they did a poll, like, are these leaders in touch with the average person or not? Okay, for Trump, say, 38% of the people say Trump is in touch with the average person. That's 38% only. So he's the leader of the country, doesn't even have half the people think he's in touch with them. Okay, but listen to this. Republicans, it's only 32% of the people believe Republicans are in touch with the average person. Now listen to this. This is the party of the average person. Democrats, right? The working man and stuff like that. Only 28%. So all these guys, that's why I guess Trump is president. More people, still a hell of a lot less than even half, think they're in touch with the average person because the other two parties are even worse. So these are the people trying to steer the ship. And the average people say, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. Only 30% think they're in touch with the average person. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? Deciding what to do in life, what kind of business to do, what kind of job to take, what kind of investment to make, all this kind of stuff. You can't. And that's why the problem to me is that we're trying to rely on experts to tell us, man, they don't know. You can't. But in life, you got to deal with it though, right? This is reality that's going on. it is accelerating so fast. I mean, in this book they say it's like, okay, if you drive 0 to 60, you know how you gotta go? Well, just think, but then after you get to 60, it sort of slows down a little bit, and then it slows down. But we're living in a society now, it goes 0 to 60, and then 60 to 120, the same speed. Then 120 to 180 or whatever, to the same speed. You know, the acceleration like that. So, I mean, that gets tiring, man. You get worn out doing that. I said, if we accelerate it the same way, like when cars first started, you'd have a gallon of gas would last you a lifetime. And see, that's what's happened in electronics. Electronics now, you know, because of Moore's law where things double like every 2 years or something like that. Now, I mean, when I was in computers, you know, the computer was as big as this room, or bigger, as my kitchen. Now, this computing power is in the size of a watch. And it's still getting smaller, you know, so it's still accelerating. So that's it. It's growing, it's accelerating faster than a human being could keep up with it. So we're frustrating ourselves, we can't keep up on it, whatever. So how do you know what to do, what's right? I don't really know. I don't even know what the hell to do, what's right for me. But I know what, you know, what I'm trying to develop is a way to how to deal with that. And I think there's certain rules. We can't use the old rules of like going to an expert, asking them what's right, and putting that into practice. Going to your professors, everything they're teaching in school, man, is out of date, right? It's not working. Certainly it doesn't even work today. It's not going to work 5 years from now when you really need it. So it seems like we rely on ourselves most, and we have to find out what works for us, because it's not going to work for somebody else maybe. And that's what it's all about. So that's why to me it's sort of like trying to find out what's inside of you and how to make that fit in to what's outside of you. So if you're looking for a career, you're looking for a business or investment or a way to market what the heck you have or all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's marrying that. You know, what's inside of you, like this, you know, this question mark suit. I mean, I was telling this lady I live with, you know, like 15 years ago, I came out of the closet, or I brought this out of the closet, is really what happened, because this is me inside. And I see what's going on in transgender and gay people. They're coming out, and what's really inside them is finally coming out. And I think we all have something like that. We all have something inside that the society has kept down because that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Yeah. And the gays and the transgenders say, oh, I can't keep this inside anymore. Drive me go. So they just come out. You know, and that's why I said, well, this was inside. This is me inside. That's why if you like this, you like me, because I know I like you, because this is me inside. Yeah. And I think we all have something special like that inside. So how do we get that out? But then how do we get that out and it's accepted, or you know, we can make a living with it somehow? How will the outside accept it so we can make a living out of doing it? Because that's what we have to do, right? Be self-sufficient enough to feed ourselves. Yeah. So that's it. So that's why I think it's part inside of us, bringing that out and seeing how to package that or frame that in a way that people outside will give you money for it, for your skills. So how do you release your talents, but in a way that's acceptable? You know, and you know, that's what I love about capitalism. It pays you if you're doing something somebody else wants. You know, so how do you get your talents and package them in a way that somebody else will give you money for it? So it's sort of like you know, chicken and egg thing. So you get enough money to survive and take care of yourself, your family, or whatever, but you're also getting the best out, so you can contribute the most to society. You know, and that's it. But most of us we're going to these experts who don't know anyway, you know, and we're trying that doesn't work, and that's why we go on the internet and Google something, and that doesn't work. We're throwing these people $300 to try that, $1,000 to try that, $500 to try that. So I think we have to try. We have to try so many things now to get ahead, to figure out what works for us, what works for that idea. But you may have to go through 100. It's like learning to walk. I mean, you have to fall down on your keister a dozen times, 24 times, 200 times before you get those legs working, you know, and you figure all that out, you know. Because if you're going to do something new, that's what it is. So I think what it is, you just keep trying. But don't spend any money trying it. So that's what I try to do, is show people, okay, here's 300 sources of money and help to start businesses, so you don't have to start a business. So you can fail and do it again, fail and do it again, fail and do it again. Who the heck knows? Because that's where you're going to learn more than anything. Why have, why go through an expert? It's so different now. The world is so different. We're all smart enough if we get in the game. Learning how to play football sitting in a classroom isn't going to be the same as getting out there and getting your butt kicked and say, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. And do it. You really learn to do that. And now there's so many ways to do that, whether it's on the internet, costs you 10 cents to start a store, and you could be on Alibaba. Alibaba wants you. That kind of thing. But what happens, I think, is we spend too much time planning. Because we're all educated and smart, so we want to plan, we want to know what the possible problems are, all this kind of stuff, and get the expert advice, because that's what we were taught to do. It makes sense, right? I don't think that stuff works anymore. All it's doing is wasting time, and that stuff is probably not going to work anyway, and then you're going to be pissed off because you wasted too much time planning, instead of just trying something small. So for 20 cents you start a store and see if there's any glimmer of hope at all to take it next step somehow. And that will even cost you less time, money, and effort, and it thinks it's a real life situation. So you want to learn how to play baseball, don't get into a college and sit in a college classroom doing it. Play in a sandlot and find out how the hell hit a ball first, and then try to get better at it. Because then you learn what your skills are and how that fits into society better, and how you could grow all that stuff. I think it's terrible. But the other thing is, it's great because, see, you don't have to be paralyzed. I think so many of us, at least I do, I'm paralyzed. Somebody says, oh, I don't know enough about this. Oh, I don't have a PhD in this or whatever to do this, or I don't know it. Wow! Donald Trump's running the country. He can't even spell the things he's doing. Oh, something soft over here. Oh, that says low battery. Oh, I'm going to put it on low power. So it's, sorry, low power mode, continue, good. Okay, so that's right. And that's makes it hopeful. Because now all of us have to act that way. We just have to try it ourselves. Because the experts are not going to know anyway, and even if they give you, it's probably wrong, and we have to have the courage, and seeing other people fail and whatever, all these experts that aren't doing anything, and people coming out of nowhere and doing these things, changing the retail industry, changing the hotel industry, changing, as they call it, disrupting, the taxi cab industry, all these disruptors, they have no experience in doing any of that, and they just do it. So that's why I feel we have to do more of that. Less planning and more doing. So try 100 things. Why go talk to 100 people? Try 100 different things, and then you'll get better information than ever. And if you need sources to do that, or to help you do that, that's what I do. Okay, so letsgotutor.com, or if you want to pick my brain and we can brainstorm some alternatives. I love showing other ways to do things that you didn't know were there and are cheap. And if you go to letsgo.com/talk, we're going to talk 10, 15, 20 minutes. I'll give you the best that I've seen. I've seen people start things like nonprofits, with no money, and they start a business, with nonprofits and having other nonprofits give them money. Or starting a restaurants and they have no money, and they get for free a restaurant in a bar that's not used at noontime to test their idea in crowdfunding and start a whole new industry in their city. So there's other ways to do this. So if I could help, let me know. If I can't, then get out there and do something. That's the only key to success, doing something. You don't know what to do, but doing nothing is wrong. It doesn't matter what you do, because nobody knows for sure if that's right or wrong. But you know what not to do. Nothing. That is definitely wrong. So don't do nothing, just do anything.